Hello there, teacher. My name is David Ocampo, and during this presentation, I will be talking about the object of linguistic and language theories and descriptive and prescriptive. Let's first analyze the descriptive approach. It is about finding rules that govern the language spoken by people. It is not rigid or demanding regarding variations, dialects, and language styles. Furthermore, this approach allows us to be flexible when listening to someone who is learning the language. In this case, the descriptive approach tends to adapt to the student's everyday language. That is how people actually speak in their daily lives. For example, a native speaker might say something in the simple present, the following sentence: The train leaves tomorrow. Although it is used to talk about scheduled future event, it is accepted and understandable in English. However, the correct way will be in the future. For example, the train will leave tomorrow. But the both forms are well expressed. Now, the prescriptive approach also plays a very important role in teaching English language. For example, the prescriptive approach establishes firm and precise rules. This approach classifies language as acceptable or not acceptable or incorrect in three ways. If a sentence is grammatically poorly structured, the approach makes a hard judgment based on the standard, either simple not accepting the sentences or judging it as incorrect. So this approach is what is generally followed in educational institutions. For example, something that is common among students is to ask if the sentence, teacher, please, what is the difference or what is the sentence is correct about between you and I? Is unacceptable or acceptable? Because the grammatical rule states that after prepositions like between, the objective case of the personal pronouns must be used. Therefore, the correct sentences will be between you and me. For this reason, these sentences is not acceptable. Finally, let's analyze what is the perception of language teaching in both descriptive and prescriptive sentences. I think knowing this concept is very helpful in teaching English because it allows us to be flexible and less demanding when teaching the language. For example, first, both approaches are important for teaching English, we must learn to use the correctly in a balanced way. For example, if we are teaching a grammar class on the present simple, and a student formulates a sentence without following the rule, we cannot be dogmatic and demand precision. On the contrary, we must be flexible and realistic. Second, we can plan lesson based on the approach we are going to use. For example, if I'm going to teach grammar, I could take a more descriptive approach so a student understand that grammar can be used in everyday context. And finally, both approach allow a student to function in both academic and everyday setting. It's very important. Let's get the student use uh, to using both approach in their lives. Thank you, teacher. That's all. And thank you so much for your attention and have a nice day.